7 ESPN.
That it is, friends. That it is. Carlin on 98.7 ESPN. 800-919-3776. 800-919 ESPN. Have you missed me? Because I have missed you. We've had a lot of basketball, a lot of hockey on the last couple of weeks. But tonight, it's you and it's me. At 800-919-3776. Load up the lines. Also on Twitter at Chris Carlin. By all means, check out the video stream. That is available at ESPN New York 98.7's Twitter feed and also on ESPN New York's Facebook page, my YouTube page as well, Carlin on ESPN. So, the Jets now, after the Carson Wentz trade, are in a position where, to me, there is virtually no need to trade Sam Darnold. Why is that? Well, it's the case for a few reasons, and let's detail them. Number one is who lies in front of them at the NFL draft. And that's the most important issue at the moment. Exactly who are the Jets looking at in the draft and believing in and thinking can be their guy when it comes to a quarterback in the future? Do they believe in Justin Fields? Do they believe in Zach Wilson? Do they believe in Trey Lance enough to draft them with the second overall pick? And to me, I think that's a jury that is going to be very much out for a while. I know that we have heard so much lately about how the Jets need to absolutely trade Darnold and get everything they can for him. Well, if you don't have the answer at quarterback, why would you do that? I am going to operate under the assumption for a moment that you don't have the opportunity to get Deshaun Watson. I'm putting that aside. I'm going to look at who is draftable, where I am at number 2, the fact that I'm probably not going to be able to pry Trevor Lawrence away from the Jacksonville Jaguars in a trade if I was trying to get up to number 1. And I'm going to say that if my other options at quarterback are not worthy of the number 2 pick, then why on earth would I trade away Sam Darnold? And this is me saying it. I don't necessarily believe at all that Sam is the answer for the future. I'm not saying that he is. I'm just saying that if you're in a position where you don't believe in the guys that are coming out, you take a pass. You take a pass and you let somebody else be the sucker to trade up to the number 2 pick. And you don't forget the most important thing about the New York Jets right now. And that quite simply is they are not talented. Please give me 5 players on the current Jets roster that have to stay for the future. You can't. Go ahead. You can look up the depth chart while we're talking here. You can't. They don't have enough talent. And they're not in a position to really be giving up the opportunity to bring in a lot more of it if you don't believe in who the quarterback is going to be. So why trade Sam? You're going to trade Sam and then not draft a quarterback? Because it says to me that if you're trading Sam away, you love Zach Wilson, most likely, or you love Justin Fields. Most likely it's Wilson, though. Because, you're hearing these stupid, and I'm going to use that word, stupid takes from some people that Wilson is actually better than Trevor Lawrence. That's dumb. That's dumb. Go look at who Zach Wilson played against this year. He didn't play against anybody. And I called one of his games. I called the bowl game against Central Florida, the Boca Raton Bowl, and I was impressed as heck. I mean, the kid can make every throw, but that was against a bad defensive team. Why am I believing in him to be the guy of the future? Why am I believing in Fields? I liked Justin Fields a lot midseason. I thought it might have been a 1-1A situation, and then later in the year didn't play as great. Played hurt, showed toughness. I think he's got a chance. Do I think that he's worth the number 2 pick right now? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't believe that whatsoever. So, having said all of that, there are a few things to consider. First of all, the teams that are going to be interested in Darnold and why. The Carson Wentz trade was bad for the New York Jets. Make no mistake. Bad. Why? Because the Indianapolis Colts were the team that was most likely to be the most desperate if Wentz ended up with the Bears or someplace else. The Colts wanted Wentz in the worst way because of Frank Reich believing in him, because of their relationship, which was the biggest key to their run together in 2017 before he got hurt. And they would have been left at the altar without much of an opportunity to turn to a true given winner. And Darnold would have been their best opportunity at that point. And to them, considering that they would have had 2 years of control of him if they wanted, they might have given up the 21st overall pick for him. The Jets might have ended up with 5 first-round picks in the next 2 years. But that's not going to happen now. I don't think the Bears are giving up the 20th pick to get Sam Darnold. And I know that if they're going to talk about a second-round pick, okay, the only way you're doing this is if you're drafting somebody. I don't really get the feeling that that's the case. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I've talked to anybody there because I haven't. I haven't talked to anybody with the Jets about it at all. I just think when you hear people talk about a guy rocketing up the draft board, we've seen that too many times before, and it's based on things that really are not all that important. You got to ride with Sam if that's the case. And you got to find a sucker. You got to find somebody who's going to load you up with picks and or a player who's going to help you in the short and the long term. If you can get somebody in the top 10 to move up because they love Zach Wilson and they think he is the next great thing next to Trevor Lawrence, oh, fleece them. Fleece them for everything they're worth. Milk them. You got to milk them dry. You take everything you can get. There is not enough talent on this roster. Yes, there's cap room. Yes, there's already draft picks. Take more. Take more. Have a young roster. Have a young, talented roster. Draft the right way. And let Sam play this season. Do not force it on a quarterback if you don't believe it. It's a mistake if you do that. The Wentz deal decreased the value on Sam. It did. It's not what the return was. It was who the most interested parties would have been and where you would have gotten the most bang for your buck. And I don't think you're getting that right now from anybody else who's really all that interested. I don't think you are. Wentz at one point with that coach, you got to remember, as his offensive coordinator, was an MVP in the league leading up to that season or leading up to when he got hurt. He was the MVP of the league. And the Eagles got the return that they did, which was actually decent considering the situation, because they're taking a $33 million cap hit by trading him away right now. The Colts really don't get destroyed by the cap number. I think for me, that killed the Jets. The Colts would have been the perfect spot. And now, if you're the Bears, are you willing to give up the 20th pick? No. All I can tell you, folks, is you better be right about the next guy if you think that the next guy exists in this draft. You love Zach Wilson? I get it. I get it. At the moment, I'm not sold on any of the three. I'm not sold on any of the three. And I've talked to some people about these three guys. People who would know about these three guys. People have coached among these three guys. I'm not sure on any of them. I'm not. 800-919-3776. You got to keep Sam. You got to keep Sam and play him this season. Is he the answer? No. But for all of you who've been screaming for years about how Sam has had nothing around him, step up right now. Let's hear from you. Step up. You've been screaming and yelling. Well, it's you-know-what cutting time. Do you want him here or not? Let's go. 800-919-3776. The live stream is new on YouTube at Carlin on ESPN. Carlin on ESPN over on YouTube. We, of course, are with you throughout the course of the next few hours. I welcome your comments. I welcome your tweets. I welcome your phone calls, and we have open lines for them next. We will get to why Brett Gardner is back. We will get to the Yankees really just flat out gambling right now. And we will get to why Luis Rojas may not make it till Memorial Day. All of it right there. Oh, I'm excited. It's me and you. Give me a big hug. Emotionally, give me a big hug. You know you've missed it. You know exactly what you have been thinking about. Or at least I have, and I want to believe that you've been thinking about it. It's fair. I'm like a big bear. A nice big hug, you're going to feel good.
It's Carlin.
And let me just say what nobody else wants to say. Your looks have become a problem.
On 98.7 ESPN. Keyshawn, J. Will.
So was there any feedback or no?
Super Bowl
No, there wasn't.
Is Daniel?
Not there, no. We're going to see, I guess, when the callers start rolling in.
Okay.
If he's the future of the New York Giants, he doesn't have a lot to work with offensively. Saquon going down and OBJ getting traded to Cleveland. They took a chance and they drafted high on the board, so they have to go out there, play him, and see what they can get.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin. Weekday mornings at 6 on 98.7 ESPN.
Guys, what do we got? What's going on? Jay Castillo.
Small business owners don't have the patience for nonsense, especially when it comes to their internet provider. They want the best services for the best price.
Marco,
Simply put,
Tabora.
that's
Let's get big
Spectrum
guy.
Business.
Hey,
They give you
appreciate
great
that, brother.
value,
Good to be back.
zero nonsense. Just call 833-919-2121.
Rob Lyons, they can get a
You'll
second
get
and a
fast,
fifth for
reliable
Darnold to be
internet and
fine with
phone
that.
with
Draft
no
Wilson is
contracts
going to
and
be
no
great.
hidden fees.
No
All for a
quarterbacks in the
price
draft
that could
in
cut your
2022.
bill in half. Spectrum Business.
Richard
Call
Miller. Good
today,
evening, Chris.
833-919-2121.
Does anybody want breakfast? Guys, let's go. I'm leaving for McDonald's in 5 seconds. Why do you start with that?
The Breakfast Stampede Meal. It's only at McDonald's, where there's a meal for every morning.
Enjoy a breakfast bundle. Pair half
So, Chris,
your choice of
I still hear your headphones like when you're in commercial.
chicken.
This is weird. Hang
It is
on.
weird. I don't know if
Let me
did you
change
the
headphones.
settings when you went to Vegas or something,
Bop.
or did you change something?
Listen,
That's all I
change
hear.
anything. That's
Watching Amityville's Long Island's Ram, Wrangler,
Try a
and
different set
SRC
of
head.
headphones.
Okay.
President's Day event is on. 0% for 84 months on select model.
Unplug the headphones into for a second. Let's see if it goes away.
Spotlight. 0 down lease on a brand new 2021 Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo. 4x4 for only $199 a month.
Like the weird
That's
thing
0
is,
down
I
and
don't have them
$199 a
jacked
month.
up. and
Plus,
they're
a huge
in
selection
earbuds.
of recently reduced certified.
Ronnie says there's something wrong with your mixer because he's here right now with me.
Good deal when you can go to Security Dodge and get the best deal.
Hang
Over
on a second. I'm
2,000
going to
cars.
turn this thing off and turn it right back on.
Okay.
No doubt.
You got time.
You already done.
We have 2 or 3 minutes.
Don't forget to tell them.
Hold on a second.
Hey, Chris, you got a mix minus problem on your end.
Okay, Rodney, I'm trying something here. Hang on.
Friday, 3.
Okay, how about now, guys? A lot better? Hello? Sounds better now?
Yeah, it sounds way better.
Okay. I think I know what the problem was. It was just a restart on the unit.
Since just two.
You got a little hum in the back, but I could work with that.
It's
All right, hang on.
$199 plus.
How about now? Is it any better there?
Text and data
Hum is still.
networks for up to 50%. Track.
Here's the good news. Even with high unemployment, there's still a need for professionals in the U.S. right now. And My Computer Career is training people to help meet the demand. No IT experience? No problem. Take the free career evaluation today at mycomputercareer.edu. Start your new life as an IT pro in as little as 4 months.
How about now? Is the hum gone now?
53% of the call. Qualify. You got 30 here. Mycomputercareer.edu.
How many gone now? You could deal with it, but I know that's not great, though.
Somebody bring a little sandpaper to that team. I need one more piece. Bouncer type personnel. I need a mad backer. You need a goon. And that will be a team that's going to mow through the East, and they will be an unstoppable force. You're just looking at them right now. They're a video game.
Clark Scott and Alan Hahn. Weekdays at noon.
How about the hum now? Ah, yes. Carlin, 800-919-3776. 800-919 ESPN. Let's do it. Let's roll. Let's get to it. Lines are open. And we begin with Marvin in the Bronx on this Friday evening. Hello, Marvin.
Look who said, CC.
What's going on?
Someone that was retired. I can't catch up with you.
It has felt like retirement, and if that's what this is, I'm not ready for it.
I'm going to give you an example, then I'm going to lead into what I want to say tonight. All right. Bart Starr was a 17th round draft pick when they had those rounds back in the day. And Vince Lombardi came along and he turned him into a Hall of Famer. For some good reason, when I think about Sam, I think about Adam Gates. Adam Gates is the impediment to this guy's development. You know, when I saw the guy in the interview, I said, this is not the guy to coach this team. I think Sam has the talent, and I think the right coach, and I think the guy they hired might be the right guy. And I'm not even a Jet fan. I'm just a guy outside looking in. But I just got a feeling you stay with Sam and you give him the pieces. Like Bill Russell said, if you don't have the horses, you ain't going to win.
Yeah, listen, we know that it's about the players. And yes, quarterback is the most important position. But really look at the roster. Are there more than 3 to 4 guys that you would say I have to have here for the future?
No, that's the argument I'm presenting. You have to get talent around this kid and see what he can do. I mean, if you trade, look,
Chris, if you trade him and he goes off and becomes an all-star on another team and takes him to the Super Bowl, and you're still left in the dungeon over there in East Rutherford, all right, you're gonna. This is gonna haunt you. I go back through the '80s. I was a big Dan Marino fan when he was in college, and when the day they didn't draft him, I turned around and said to a Jet fan, "That's a draft pick that's gonna haunt you for the next 10 years."
Well, listen, that it was longer than 10 years, Marvin. It was longer.
Anyway, I'm gonna say this, Chris. I love talking to you. I'm very proud of you, and I look forward to having lunch with you one day.
Marvin, hopefully soon. Hopefully somebody can have lunch with somebody soon. Thanks for the call, brother. I appreciate it as always. Look, I just feel like right now, if you're in a position that the Jets are in, and it's kind of an in-between, and there doesn't seem to, you don't get the feeling that they have their guy locked in this draft coming up, then why would you ever trade away Sam? Why would you really do that? I just don't think that you would. How about John on the car phone next, 98.7 ESPN? John, what's going on, man?
Hey, Chris. How you doing?
I'm great, John. How are you?
Good. I agree with you that beyond Trevor Lawrence, the next pick's a quarterback. Your replacement is not there. But I do not think that Sam is the guy, because the issue with Sam in college at that level was turnovers. And he had the weapons there at that level. So that's the one thing you don't correct in the NFL. I don't think he was a good pick to begin with. And I think he showed that from the first pass he threw in the NFL.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that's unfair because he played much better later in the year. He really did. He played much better that first year.
But he still had a ton of turnovers. You're not going to correct that. How are you going to correct that? He turns it over a lot.
Yeah, I think the problem that everybody is going to point to is that Sam is trying too hard to try to make something happen when he doesn't have people to try to make something happen with. And
was he doing that in college?
He had weapons in college. You're right that's I mean, that's an excellent point on your part.
He turned it over at a record level.
He did. And I think guys looked at him and thought, he's 20 years old. We're going to be able to mold him into a better quarterback. And I have seen Sam regress here. But here's my point. Do you believe in any of the three that are coming out besides Trevor Lawrence and operating under the assumption that you can't get Watson?
No.
Then why are you letting Sam go for that? Why would you force it for that?
No, you're not. You're not. I agree with you there. You keep him and you wait to see what you can do later on. Now, comparing him to a Daniel Jones is a little bit younger, not enough time. But Daniel Jones is turning it over because he's dropping the ball. He's holding it too long. That you can correct. Throwing the ball to the other team, not seeing the reads, you can't correct, especially when he did it on a record level in college. I don't know what they were thinking then. I really don't think he was the highest, that he didn't deserve the draft pick he got then.
Well, people believed in him. That was the problem. And thanks for the call.
I know.
So if they believed in him, they thought they saw something. All right. I've watched Wilson truly in one game. I'm being honest. One game. They didn't play anybody else this year. You look at what happened with the BYU schedule, and they got completely thrown off by COVID, and they were making it up as they went along, and they would have played a lot of teams that were at least better, and they ended up not. And, they put together the Coastal Carolina game when they could. Games like that. So I don't know what to make of somebody like Zach Wilson right now. When it comes to Justin Fields, I like him a lot. I really do. I think he's got a great toughness about him. I think he can be a very good quarterback in the league. I'm not as high on him as I was maybe in the middle of the season. I do know he can make an awful lot of good throws. and he can make them on the run, and he can make them in difficult situations where it's thrown across your body. Let me give you one little tidbit, though, that I picked up this week. Little tidbit from people in the know. Trey Lance, who I have not seen take one snap, not one. Just being 100% honest. But I did talk to somebody very familiar with Trey Lance this week and familiar with his career. And, watched him quite a bit and was around him quite a bit. And here's what I got out of it. This is a guy that is going to be similar to Sam in that he's only going to be 20 years old. And while he has an immense amount of talent, and you look at all the throws that he made and all that kind of stuff, and you also want to talk about competition, it is 1AA, but you can make that point. He did everything that he could, but he really only started 1 year. This is Trey Lance's resume, right? Redshirt. He redshirted his freshman year. He started his second year, his redshirt freshman year, all year, had a terrific season. And then he played one game. The team played one game this year, his redshirt sophomore year. So he has barely over a year in starting experience in college. He is not ready to play at least until his second year in the league. At least. And then you're going to go through growing pains. So let's just argue for a moment. We all know that Lance is the third of the three behind Lawrence. Behind Fields and then behind Wilson. If you think Lance might be the guy down the road, maybe if you're the Jets, you could take him at the 23rd pick. And then you could keep Sam and continue to play him this year and figure out what you have from there. You have a guy that has started plenty of games, and if you think Lance is the guy, maybe you do that, and you don't plan on playing him anytime soon. It's so much harder to do that in the league now than it used to be. I'm not even saying that's the answer. But a couple of the notes I got on Trey Lance this week, just to give you an idea. First of all, take a look at the North Dakota State quarterbacks the last few years getting into the league. Think about that. Carson Wentz, then Easton Stick, who is the backup, in San Diego? Or Los Angeles, wherever he is. So another North Dakota State quarterback, 1AA. It's the backup, gets into the league, and now they have another potential first-round pick in Trey Lance. So that has to tell you that he's been coached pretty well. They've had the same quarterback coach out there for 6, 7, 8 years. His name's escaping me right now, but he coached Wentz, he coached Easton Stick, and now he coached Trey Lance. Lance is a guy that is extremely smart. This is what I'm told, okay? He's somebody that would actually, when the coaches put together film, he was smart enough that he would go and put together film on his own. He would put together his own film cut-ups, as they call them. A remarkable amount of composure and exceptionally smart. He is capable. You'll look at his numbers and you'll think, well, he can run the ball a ton too. Maybe not necessarily. He's not Lamar Jackson. He's not going to be that guy. But they ran at North Dakota State a lot of play action like they run in the league right now. RPOs and play action. And this is certainly somebody that can extend the play. This is just insight I got from people around him, people with no dog in the game, so to speak, who really liked him and gave me a couple of the negatives there and didn't think that this is somebody that's going to walk into the league and play right away. But if they did want to draft a quarterback, and they were going to look at him. I'm not going to tell you that they should. I haven't seen him play it down. I haven't even gone to YouTube for the highlights yet. But this is just some of the insight I got this week on Trey Lance. Just because we don't know anything about him, we know more about the other two. So if that's the case, and you're looking at somebody that may be able to sit for a year or two and then play, makes bringing Sam back make a little bit more sense. But there is a very real fear in trading Sam in the league. A very real fear. We'll tell you what that is in a moment.
It's Carlin.
Bad guy in a little coat. Bad guy in a little coat.
On 98.7 ESPN.
Right now, during the
You got to read here.
qualified lessees of competitive vehicles get a low mileage lease on the 2021.
How is it sound right now?
Cab 4x4
Okay.
with
Yeah, it sounds better.
for $239
Better or
a month
perfect
for 39
or what?
months with $4,009
It sounds a whole lot better.
extra no
I
security
mean,
deposit.
more than workable.
Yeah, way more than workable. Especially with the phone calls. I didn't know
That's great, Chris. Like I text you, like you sound way better now.
Okay.
Extreme. Yeah, because before I could hear your headphones and it was like feedback, and I was worried when you would get a phone call, but when you got the phone call, it was fine. Good thing you went to Marvin.
You got 30 after here.
Okay.
PayPal app and display your own unique QR
Matt Entz, Chris, was that the coach?
market seller.
I'll take 2 tomatoes.
No. Randy
Poodle
Hegley, something like that.
Piano tuner
Quarterback coach.
or plumber.
Stand by.
Free payments for your business
Hang on
is
here,
easy.
Jacob. I'm just pulling it up, sir.
Touch-free
I'll have
QR
it.
code payments.
Got it.
Shop safe with PayPal.
All right, my friends. Let me tell you something. I got to tell you all about the excellent people. As I scroll up, make sure that I have the right copy. The excellent, top-notch folks. And where you get your auto parts from. You know where that is? Arch Auto Parts. They do an amazing, amazing job. And if you don't know about Arch Auto Parts, it's time to tell you about them because they are always fully stocked with multiple locations right in your community. They're your one-stop shop for all of your auto parts needs. Great prices, super friendly customer service. They offer in-shop services as well, such as strut compression, battery maintenance, AC hose repair, even electronic key and fob programming. Mechanics and repair shops have trusted Arch for decades, and you can trust Arch Auto Parts too. I mean, they are your neighborhood auto parts store. Visit archautoparts.com or call 718-425-ARCH today.
Yo, everybody, what's up? This is Bart Scott, your favorite.
Thank you, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you saw Steve's email. But
And we got to do it a couple of more times, right?
Yeah.
I used to be.
So I got it ready. Like
I'll keep it nearby.
You won't
Steve,
say
the problem is
anything.
Steve sends me
Instead,
all the
you're
copy
suffering.
for the entire day.
Yeah, no.
I don't
Doctors
need
will
that.
think. Well, all you have to do to reclaim
There we
your
go.
swag is to go and visit BlueChew.com. Connect with a BlueChew.com affiliate physician and see if you qualify and get prescribed ASAP. Guys, this is a no-brainer. Why wouldn't you want to be better in the bedroom? I don't care if you're already a 9. Become a 10. Become a 12. Make her tell her friends that you put the swag back in your jag. Visit BlueChew.com and get your first order free when you use promo code NYC. All you got to do is pay $5 in shipping and handling. That's BLUE Chew.com. Promo code NYC. Game time.
So for all my friends who are looking for the YouTube stream, we have moved the YouTube page to Carlin on ESPN. Carlin on ESPN. And I will try to put the link. I'll put the link up over on my Twitter. All right. So you can check it out there.
Weekday mornings from 5 to 8 a.m. 7 ESPN.
Here's the good news. Even with high unemployment, there's still a need for hundreds of thousands of cybersecurity professionals in the U.S. right now. And My Computer Career is training people to help meet the demand. No IT experience? No problem. Take the free career evaluation today at mycomputercareer.edu. Start your new life as an IT pro in as little as 4 months. Grants covering up to 53% of the cost are available to those who qualify. It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
Sure, the players bring some skill to the game, but if I don't put them in my lineup, who cares? Not me. I'm Eric Rubino, fantasy baseball GM and league runner-up 2 of the last 9 years. I use the Progressive Name Your Price tool with options based on my budget. And for a guy that's used to being in control, it fits. Like this runner-up t-shirt. Champ gets a trophy, but you can't wear a trophy. Boom.
Get options based on your budget with Progressive, even if you're not a legend in your own mind. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Pretty sure we're going to start doing like a mean tweets type segment because I've been keeping some lately and they have been outstanding, to say the least. I'll give it to you. When you guys want to deliver the malice, you deliver it with extreme prejudice, and I love it. 800-919-3776, 800-919-ESPN. Let's hit back to the phones. Our guy Spike in Jersey is back. Spike, what's going on? How are you, bud?
Oh, glad to hear your voice. The comfort is back. First of all, Sam's got more holes in his game than props in a Flex Seal commercial. Please.
Yeah.
Gotta go, man. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but hey, anything he's got to get him out of here. For his sake and for the whole team's sake, get what you can and get someone in there to fill the gap and take one of the young pups, man. That's the only way to do it. A couple of questions for you now, since I got you. Whether you're on, I'll find out when you're on, and we'll figure this out.
Next week, all games. Next week, all big games. I'll be on Sunday, 12 to 3.
All right, okay, I'll check that out. But what does Rutgers need? One more win out of the 4 conference games?
No, I think to feel really, really confident, you'd want to get 2 wins. You can't lose to Nebraska because they've been bad, and they play Nebraska coming up. But you got Maryland Sunday, you got Indiana, you got Nebraska, and I believe Minnesota left. I believe.
Minnesota, yeah. Well,
I think if you win 2 of the last 4 going into the conference tournament, you're probably in pretty good shape.
Yeah, they played well last night, man. That's a tough team.
Yeah, they just couldn't hit shots last night. I mean, listen, Michigan's excellent. There's a reason that Michigan is 14-1.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Baker couldn't hit. They just couldn't hit, but their defense is good. They're going to be good. They'll be 7, 8, 9 seed. I'm excited about that. And the last thing, I'm trying to put this together. I need your feedback. I'm being serious now. I said something on the K show and about the big 3, in Brooklyn and all that. And I'm old enough to have seen Chamberlain and old Elgin Baylor and Jerry West, who, you can compare the stats. You know where I'm going. So I said, don't be surprised if they hit 100 points one game, the 3 of them. Yeah, you got to get them on the court. It's got to be the right situation. So I want to start a little pool amongst anybody's eligible. Throw in $10, pick a date, and pick a score, because this thing could carry over. Do you think, with all the basketball you've called over the years, and knowing how these guys, any one of them can go off, you'll agree with me, any night and put up 45 or 50, you think you need a double overtime game to get 100 between the 3 of them the way the game's played today?
No, I don't think you do. Between the big 3 in Brooklyn? No.
Yeah.
I think you could get 100 between the 3 of them. I think you could.
Yeah, you could get a 128, 127 game, and then one of them gets 42.
Well, look, they're gonna. Here's the thing: they're gonna score so many points, Spike, and thanks to the call, that it's not going to be a concern. It's going to be about who they're stopping. Listen, we can all jump up and down about how great this is. It's phenomenal. But honestly, call me in the postseason. I don't care how many games the Nets win the rest of the year. I want to see it when somebody clamps down on them just a little bit and the Nets can't defend or even bother to defend anyone. The talent's immense, okay? In Golden State, you know what they did? They defended, in addition to being a lights-out team offensively. The Nets have zero interest in that. And until they have interest in doing it, I have zero interest in hearing about how amazing the Nets are. That's great. That's great. And ironically, New York has zero interest in hearing about how amazing the Nets are. The Nets by far are a much, much bigger story outside of New York City than they are here. 800-919-3776. Huey, St. Louis, up next. What's up, baby?
Carl, what's going on, brother? How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Hey, I am good, thanks. So I felt compelled to call in with all this draft talk and quarterback talk. And by the way, I'm on a walk. It's like 10 below zero, but I had to get out of the house.
What are you doing in 10 below? I mean, come on.
With the wind chill, it feels okay, man. So, but hey, so the whole I'm intrigued by the draft for a couple of reasons. Number one, I've watched a lot of Lawrence. I've seen a little bit of Fields. Other than that, I don't know much about Wilson or the other guys. So, having said that, though, I was interested in what Mel Kiper said last week, that he thought Daniel Jones would be the second quarterback if he was in this draft class. So, in essence, he was saying, Giants, you don't need to go get a quarterback here, which I don't think they're in play for one anyway. But then you throw in all the other guys out there, the Trubiskys. I think Roethlisberger's probably going to be hanging it up. It's really interesting to see where some of these teams are going to go. I still think for the Jets, Watson, is not a great fit because the Jets aren't in a position to win anytime soon.
Yeah, I do think that there is. Let's have some fun for a second, okay? Yeah. Let's just argue for 1 second that the Jets actually pried the 20th pick out of the Chicago Bears for Sam. Let's just discuss that for 1 second. The Jets would then have 3 first-round picks this year and 5 the next 2 years. I think Watson's not the concern because it's really up to whether Watson wants to be here or not. Could you possibly trade 3 first-round picks to the Jaguars and get them off of Trevor Lawrence?
Well, okay. So first of all, I don't think there's any chance they're getting a first for Sam. But playing the game here with that, then but I do think part of the reason that what's his name came back to coach again is because he wants to coach Lawrence.
Yeah,
right.
I think that's probably true.
Piece of that.
I think it's listen. I think it's a long shot. Okay, I don't think the Jaguars have any interest in trading him away. But
and again, the Jaguars have gotten off to a rocky start there anyway. With the other stuff that's gone on, it's not what he was expecting to walk into. But again, 3 first round.
Well, part of it was his own mistake too, by hiring who he hired.
Well, and his arrogance and not understanding that you can't just push that off to the side in the NFL. Maybe college you could, but not with the eyes on the NFL. But having said that, I just can't see. I can't see them trading any. I mean, I think it have to be 10 first-round picks. I mean, I think Lawrence is this next generation guy they keep talking about. Now, the last one, Chris, they talked about like this was Luck, and Luck had a decent career, but Luck didn't turn out to be Peyton Manning or Elway.
Well, the only reason he didn't was injuries. I mean, I think we could argue that when you look at the numbers early in his career, Huey, thanks for the call, he had a chance to be that. He did. Luck was a surefire star in the league. He was. And look at a few of the early years, not first or second, but like third year in the league, I think he threw 40 touchdowns. I mean, he had some massive, massive seasons. But, with Sam, I hinted at this before. We'll talk about it when we come back. The real fear that exists in potentially trading him away. And it's legitimate. Carlin, back with you. And you know what? You're rewarded for that.
It's Carlin.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone is now dumber for having listened to it.
On 98.7 ESPN. 98.
You got to read after this.
All right.
Undefeated. Celebrate Black History Month.
Stevie, what's up, brother? I had to move it over
Ozzie Newsome was a Hall of Fame tight end.
to a different
and
YouTube
in
page.
2002 was named the first black general manager in the NFL. Under
And
Newsom's
by the way,
watch, the Ravens won 2 Super Bowls while drafting 3 Hall of
this here?
Famers and 25 Pro
Is
Bowlers.
a beautiful
Celebrating Black History on
Curtis
98.7
Martin Hall
ESPN.
of Fame autographed mini helmet. All right, my friends. As we were telling you before, where do you get your auto parts from? If you don't say Arch Auto Parts, it's time that you learned about it. They are always fully stocked. They've got multiple locations right in your community. They are your one-stop shop for all of your auto parts needs. Great prices, super friendly customer service. They offer in-shop services as well, such as strut compression, battery maintenance, AC hose repair, even electronic key and fob programming. Mechanics and repair shops, they have trusted Arch for decades. And now you can trust Arch Auto Parts too. I mean, they are your neighborhood auto parts store. Visit archautoparts.com or call 718-425-ARCH today. All right, so here's the deal, everybody. Talking to the folks in the stream, guys, back in the studio. That is a Curtis Martin autographed mini helmet. It's not coming into great focus there, but trust me on that. It is a beautiful item. Beautiful. And I am giving this away. Here's how it's going. You can check out my Instagram, that guy Carlin. And also, if you subscribe to this new YouTube page, you get 5 additional entries in winning that thing. So, by all means, tell your friends. Subscribe and also follow over on Instagram. We'll make it happen, Captain. Okay? We're giving it away on Monday. Jarv, how was Vegas? Vegas, Jarv, was very good. I did not get out to any of the nature type sites that we discussed as possible. Getting out to, didn't even go to the Hoover Dam, didn't go out to take the drive to the place that you recommended. I ended up just sticking to playing golf, and it was fun. It was a good couple days, and it was just nice to get into the sun for a change of pace, that's for sure. Rob Lyons, if they keep Sam and don't draft Wilson, what do they do next year? I hate to put it this way. You start to look at who the quarterbacks are going to be. I can't tell you that they have great quarterback options next year.
Who know that their work is important and that
I don't
every
want to
package
force
matters.
it.
Find a job that fits your life with competitive wages, reliable hours, and benefits. Let's work together, from boxing it up to sending it on its way. Every step offers a different role and schedule. So, are you ready to work together in your community? Visit Amazon.com/apply to see what's available. That's Amazon.com/apply. Amazon is an equal opportunity employer.
The very real fear that exists in trading Sam is the Ryan Tannehill effect. And I know, personally, I would not subscribe to this idea. But Sam, as so many people have told me over the last couple of years, he came into the league at 20 years old. He's only 23. It's hard to give up on a guy at 23 when he hasn't, had much to work with around him. You look at Ryan Tannehill, he was actually in the league a whole lot longer before he got better. And Diana Rossini of ESPN, outstanding NFL reporter, tweeted out some stats from earlier today in relation to Tannehill and Sam Darnold and their numbers where they were after their years with Gase. Remarkably similar. So what is the natural fear? that Sam goes somewhere else and lights it up and becomes the quarterback everybody thought he could be. This is such the fatal flaw in the league right now that because you're not paying quarterbacks at the top of the draft $50 million right away, they actually get a shorter leash. When you invest that much at the beginning, you have to give them as much time as they need to try to make it happen. Now, because after 3 years and really the fourth year, you have to make a decision on whether or not that guy is your guy, you're not going to have the luxury of giving him nearly enough time to maybe develop. Now, again, I don't believe in Sam. I don't think Sam is the long-term answer. But if I don't believe in any of the quarterbacks coming out now, I have to give Sam this coming year and give it to him with somebody else who might have a chance and with more weapons. I'm not going to sit in worry about him going somewhere else if I do trade him and becoming a great quarterback. I'm not going to do that. What I am going to do is make the best decision based on the information that I have, and I think right now that information says keep Sam. Aquino in the Bronx is next, 98.7 ESPN. Aquino.
Hey, what's up, Carlin? How you doing?
Good, brother. How are you?
I'm good. Listen, I like you, man. I listen to you all the time. I'm a cab driver. I'm always driving. I'm always listening to you, so I like you.
I appreciate
this is
that.
my first time calling in. No problem. This is my first time calling into the radio. Listen, I'm a Jets fan. I like the Jets. I'm actually a fan of players, not necessarily teams. But for some reason or another, I like the Jets. I've been following the Jets now for probably about 10 years. So I like the Jets a lot. Now, here's what I think. I think you keeping Sam is a horrible idea. It's a horrible idea. I've been watching Sam for the past 3 years. Sam has not shown me anything at all that says, I'm a franchise quarterback, keep me. Now, I listened to the Michael K show, and I heard Steve Young. Steve Young came on the Michael K show, and Steve Young said, the kid from out of BYU, I've watched this kid. I've seen this kid chuck it all over the place. I'm not saying that he's Patrick Mahomes, but he has the tools. When I heard Steve Young say that, and we both know Steve Young has 3 championships, right? He has 3 rings.
Also went to BYU. Also went to BYU.
Exactly. And he's played in the NFL 15 years. So he knows something about quarterbacks.
Sure.
So if Steve Young if he's gonna come on the Michael K show and say, this guy, I'm not saying I'm mesmerized, I'm not saying he's Pat Mahomes, but I'm saying that he has the tools. I think that we're better off letting Sam go, press the restart button, get this kid from out of BYU, and start back fresh. That's what I think.
I get it. And a lot of people are going to be feeling that way. Thanks for the call. I think there's going to be people screaming for them to draft one of these other quarterbacks. And then there are going to be people that feel like they don't. I am so fascinated to know what they think of Wilson and what they think of Fields. And if they truly believe that either one of them is worth the second overall pick. There is a big difference between really liking a guy and believing he can be a franchise quarterback, but not necessarily believing he's worth the second overall pick if I have a chance to move down 4 spots and get a lot more help for a team that is thoroughly bereft of talent. Thoroughly. Simon in New Haven has been very patient. Simon, what's going on?
Hey, Chris, how you doing?
Good, Simon. How are you?
All right, I wanted to talk about the Yankees. I don't think we got to get Gardner. I'm sorry, but the guy stinks. I'm sorry. I mean, it's like watching Forrest come to ping pong, the grounding out, and the thing with the bat, that on the Michael K show, Pete Rosenberg was talking about banging his bat on the clubhouse. I'm trying to get the team riled up. Hit the ball. I mean, his bad habit. I mean, don't get me wrong. He has his good points, but his bad habit, this lack of grounding out and popping up, is rubbing off on the rest of the Yankees. I mean, why do you think Sanchez stinks? Hicks does it. Boyd's starting to do it. I mean, we're not.
Are you blaming Brett Gardner for everybody else's struggles? Is that what's going on here?
Well, yeah.
No, you can't do that. You can't blame Brett Gardner for Gary Sanchez stinking. What? Good talk. All right, thanks for the call. You can't blame Brett Gardner for Gary Sanchez stinking. Listen, the Brett Gardner thing, whatever, honestly. That is $4 million to bring back Brett Gardner. It's just run it back. Same team. Except taking more risks in the pitching staff. Ugh. Carlin, 98.7 ESPN.
With a world-class whiskey distillery in the Utah ski capital of Park City,
that's
High
Brett
West
Gardner
is proud
there,
to sponsor the U.S. ski and snowboard team. And as Utah's first legal distillery since 1870, they know what it means to go off the beaten path. Pick up some trail-breaking, campfire-sipping whiskey from the West and taste for yourself. Each bottle is thoughtfully sourced, deliciously blended, and proudly made for whiskey lovers like you. Sip responsibly. Whiskey 40 to 50% alcohol by volume. High West Distillery, Park City, Utah.
You don't have to love math to love multiplying your win with the new X series of scratch-offs from the New York Lottery. You can multiply your winnings 5 times, 10 times, 20 times, 50 times, 100 times, even 200 times. That means your win could become big, and your big win could become